Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 22 of the Loper Show, and one of my good bros. This is Durb Morrison. How are you, man?
Good. How you doing,
dude? So
nice to be here.
I mean, legendary tattoo artist, the creator of Hell City Tattoo Convention here in Columbus, and also out in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, man. Coming up on our 23rd year this coming weekend.
Yeah, that's
23 years here.
I can't wait. Do you know I've only been one time? And with one of our really, actually, the guy who we met through, Carlos Carvalho.
Yeah.
Back in the day, me and Carlos came down.
Instructors.
Yes. Carlson Gracie team, of course.
Yes,
and
sir.
And yeah, man. So that's how we met through jiu-jitsu. And he was like, you know that guy's the best tattoo artist in the Midwest. And I was like, really? And so I started looking you up, when
started seeing my history.
Well, because you came in to roll or something, and I forget exactly when we first met. But he was like, dude, that guy's like legendary in tattoos. I was like, no way.
Yeah, and I stay humble. A lot of people said, they're like, I had no clue like who you were, what you did, because you stay humble with it.
Yeah,
that's one of the keys.
You're the kind of person that you kind of exude the martial arts attitude of. You got a bushido about you, my friend.
I do. Yeah, I hear that. The energy, and I try to keep that energy around people too. I think it's inspirational for people, especially as I get older, and I keep the same energy and same pace and all that too.
Yeah.
It's inspirational for people.
You're still training.
Yes. Still training, trying to avoid as many injuries as possible, getting close to my black belt now, which
that's
feels
so cool,
impossible when you start training.
Yeah.
So working towards my black belt, competed at brown belt so far.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, that's great.
So just trying to do the thing, it's, as it's like one of the hardest things to do.
Oh my God. Well, like my shoulder took me out.
Yeah,
I was competing, I was going to, and dude, ripped my bicep off my labrum. I mean, I was out for a solid year.
Yep. Yeah, I've had 2 knee surgeries already. I have surgery actually next month in June. Well, so in June 10th, I have hernia surgery now.
Oh, no shit.
So jiu-jitsu's been amazing. But no, really, it's worth all the injuries.
Come in, you do the jiu-jitsu, experience life, and you're like, no, I experienced maxing out my healthcare program.
For real, and I didn't start till I was like 41, so I was already getting brittle.
Yeah, wow.
Getting into it, but I'd always, like you said, I exude the martial arts mentality.
Yeah.
And I do tend to go for things that are hard and challenging. To me, tattooing is the most challenging art form out there.
I bet.
It's the most permanent art form. You're putting things on people that like change their lives, have stories, things like that. So it's like an unforgiving art form, so same thing with jiu-jitsu. You make a mistake.
Yeah,
you get submitted.
It is interesting because when I first started getting tattooed, I was just so lucky. Rest in peace, Jack Frost. But he was the first guy to ever tattoo me down in West Palm.
Nice.
And came into the radio station. I got a horrible, stupid, Godsmack.
It's like our first tattoos
it wasn't
are always the worst.
It wasn't a real
always
this has all been
that's tribal days, though.
Yeah,
man.
the tribal.
Right, there's tribal.
So I say Godsmack. It wasn't really for Godsmack, but I didn't know what to get. So I did the pick off the wall thing, right?
Yeah,
but
that's
this guy,
all there was back then, though. If you think about it, now, nowadays we're seeing kids that are coming out of art school and the level of tattoo artistry is insane.
I bet
insane, man.
Especially with AI, it's got to be.
Yeah,
insane.
AI just added a whole nother level to everything.
Yeah,
man. So tattoo art, not only is it one of the oldest art forms and one of the hardest art forms, to me it's becoming one of the most fascinating art forms from people watching it on television. And being able to come beyond the studio doors and see we're not a bunch of hard ass bikers, convicts that are in there waiting to take your money and tattoo you. And no, I mean, tattooing is just one of those things that it appeals to people. It changes people's lives. And as an artist, it's been an incredible life.
You're from Newark and Ohio. And so,
Newark crew.
It's such a small area. How do you get started in tattooing down there?
You know what? I grew up skateboarding.
Oh,
and right with skateboarding, I started to meet a bunch of punk rock skateboarders and the music style and kind of like that lifestyle was more aggressive. I got into punk music, started playing in punk bands, and with skateboarding and punk music, all the skateboarders started having tattoos. All the skaters I was looking up to, like Jason Jesse and Matt Hensley and all these guys, they were all tattooed up. So that kind of influenced me at a young age. And then I had a bunch of punk rock friends that didn't care what I was doing on them, which was great. And I was already an artist, so it just kind of went hand in hand. I found at the age of 13, believe it or not, 13 years old, I've been tattooing 39 years now, And to find that art form at a young age and have friends that would let me practice on them.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing. And nobody had it back then. It was kind of rebellious. My parents hated it, so I loved it. You know, and I started getting tattooed, like professional tattoos, and lying about my age. I'm not going to say who it was. I later went to work for the guy, but I started, you know, getting heavily tattooed at like probably around like 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like when you say heavily, like how many tattoos?
Like I was in high school. I'm not joking. I had this dragon. I had this fire. I had a web. I had like there was a skull back here.
Shit.
So I almost had a sleeve.
So what are your parents saying as this is happening? Were they cool
I was
about
just out
it,
of control. No, not really. My dad really hated the fact that I was doing tattoos in a small town, you know, because the reputation,
knew.
The parents and stuff like that. Yeah. So they were concerned. As they saw me, like when I went professional, like no shit. The first day I went professional, I made $600 cash.
No shit.
And at 18 years old in, you know, 1991.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. So I went from making like $25 to $30 a day to $600. And that's when I look back and I'm like, you know, like times in your life, you're like, I'm glad I didn't listen to people telling me not to do something, or that it was stupid. And you knew you had something there. That's kind of what I had with tattooing. I was like, found something that's mine. Mm-hmm. And then once I realized, I think that I could make a career out of it and actually make money, I just dedicated my whole life to it. That's the art form is fascinating. The connection, and you probably feel this too with like your tattooers. You get like a personal connection with your artist because we give you something for life.
Absolutely.
You know? And we get to hear stories from you or experiences from you while we're tattooing you that not a lot of people probably get to hear because of the moment of tattooing. What I always say is like tattooing is kind of like a torture device. You know, and if you're tattooing somebody, it releases endorphins. Yeah. And they talk and they have nowhere to go. And they know that you don't know, you know, any of their friends or family. So you hear things as an artist that, you know, you keep them sacred between you and the client, but that develops these bonds. Yeah. If that makes sense, you know, with people.
Yeah. So. It's kind of cool. Like I've only been tattooed by 4 people and it's all like a lineage. For the first 3 guys was all from, so like my friend Jack Frost that I mentioned, and then his 2 apprentices, and then Big Mees.
Yep, Mees.
And like, you know, who's, you know, absolute legend. But
Mees is awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, I can point anywhere on my body and go, that's Roger. You know, that's Jack. Yeah, and it's cool because I can go back to that day and remember exactly what happened that day. Yeah. You know, what we were eating, you know, the shit we were talking.
You're saying that tattoos are like a story of your life.
Yeah.
You know, I've had things like lasered off from when I was like a young kid and covered up and all that stuff. But every tattoo is literally like what you're into or where you're at that point in your life.
Totally. Yes.
Some people use them as like memorial things a lot too. Mm-hmm. You know, we saw that a lot like in the television shows. Yeah. Yeah. Like in like LA Ink and all that stuff. Right. A lot of people were giving like these sad stories. Yeah. And so us as tattooers, when the TV shows were on, our clients started giving us like sad stories because they thought they were all on television. Yeah. You know?
Oh, that's so funny. The culture just kind of.
Yeah. So it's like television gave us like.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Perception that every tattoo has to be sad.
Were you ever offered to be on any of those reality shows?
Yeah, I have been. I've been on television a few times. I never did the Ink Master. I never made it past the interview. I don't think I was enough drama.
Is that right?
Honest, but yeah, honestly,
people don't realize it's like scripted reality.
Yeah,
you know, it's like cells. You know, what's happening is kind of created by the producers a little bit.
So when I interviewed with like the producers, they were like, "So what would you do if you know, Mikey threw something at you while you're tattooing?" I'd be like, "I wouldn't do anything, man. I'd keep tattooing. You know, do the best." And I think they wanted to hear like I'd get up and throw the chair and you know get crazy with this dude and. So yeah, I never got the part because I don't think I could play the drama, the fake drama part, you know, and I don't want to, I'm too far in my career. I got the seniority and I'm like kind of like an industry veteran to put your career on a line in that aspect after a while, you know? Yeah. So I just never did it. I like the shows, you know, a lot of people are like, what do you think of the shows, man? Like, I think they're great because I think tattooing deserved the platform that it has now. I think it deserved like the acceptance, like the public acceptance. Yeah, right. That it has now. Now people realize like, oh shit, tattooing is like a serious art form. It's not just some rebellious biker punk rock, you know, like loser convict art. You know what I'm saying? It's literally one of like, and you can. It's like somebody wearing a Rolex. Yeah. If you're wearing like super nice tattoos, it exudes a different level of class. You know, so I don't know. I say that also to people. I'll go. your tattoos and the quality of your tattoo shows you how much you respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you're just getting a bunch of junk all over you, it's like, this is your vessel. You know,
well, it's different. Like our generation, we kind of had more like together sleeves.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And like in the new generation, like my son and I know your son has a lot of tattoos too.
Like full cohesive.
Yeah, or they're more like like, I'm gonna get one here. I'm gonna get one here, and it's like they're smaller, and the art is obviously progressed over the years, but it's just a different style.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a different style. It's a different outlook of being tattooed as well nowadays. Like when I was growing up, it was like punk rock, rebellious. Now it's like fashionable.
Right.
Well, which is cool.
Yeah, and one of the coolest things I thought that you had ever said to me was when I called you up and I go, dude, I'm going to get a tattoo, and I want to get a certain name on my body. Mm-hmm. We're just going to leave it at that, guys. No, my ex-wife, my wife at the time, and you bowed out and you said, hey, listen, man, Loper, I would tattoo you every day for the rest of your life. But when it comes to lettering, there's a guy named Big Mees out of Dayton who was not only a graffiti artist back in the day, but he might be the best letterer in the entire world. Yeah. And dude, my tattoo is dope.
Styles of lettering too that he does.
Yeah. And the fact that I have to get it covered up now is like, it's so bittersweet because I love telling people that it's a beautiful tattoo. And I appreciated, you giving me the recommendation and, but it is a little part of me is almost like crushed inside that I have to cover up a Mees tattoo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so how do you deal with cover ups?
I mean, personally, I had a tattoo recently that I covered up that my ex-wife did as well, so I cover up tattoos. I've had a lot of things removed, a lot of like punk rock tattoos when I was a kid that just, I literally at 18 had the word suffer tattooed across my throat. Suffer. Like, the hell, man. So I've also had that experience where I'm looking at words, but my word was like,
it was right there every day. Yeah.
It's like I fell down. I'd be like, so I get to a point with that word and some of the tattoos, and I'm like, I don't want any aggressive tattoos on me.
Yeah.
Even though I like to fight and all that stuff, not really fight, but like jujitsu and I didn't want any negative stuff on me, that was like angry stuff from when I was like a kid. So I got a lot of stuff laser. I had the opportunity. One of my friends had a laser machine.
Okay.
So I got a lot of stuff lasered off.
Dude, let's talk about that. I heard it's way worse.
Yeah, it's way worse, man. But it's okay. So I recommend it to people if they have the opportunity. There's a place here in town that we recommend people to.
Okay.
I'm also going to speak with you about. But I recommend people can either lighten up their tattoos a little bit, and the options you have to get them covered up is that much better. So if you have a very like dark black tattoo or like the black line work and stuff like that, you can actually, and black breaks up the fastest of any pigment in the body.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
it's more of a carbon, not a pigment particle. So it's it breaks up a lot easier. So I recommend people do laser removal nowadays if it's really dark, so that your tattoo doesn't just keep getting muddier.
Are they to the point like where it goes away? Like when you look at it?
I mean, there's minimal scarring on the tissue that you can see even when the tattoo is removed.
Yeah.
So I don't think you could continue to do it, but if you see like little particles of pigment like left over, I think a lot of people tend to want to cover it up with something different.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you're patient enough and you can take the pain enough.
Dude, how much more painful is it?
Unfortunately, yours is on your stomach. So.
Dude, so Big Mees. Let's just talk about Mees for a second. First of all, the guy will put the ink in you, and and he's like, I got to make sure. He's like, this is so big, and the lettering is black. He's like, I got to put it in you so that way it stays, or we're gonna have to do this again.
Go back
because I've never sat in a chair where I was like, holy shit, this guy's so heavy handed.
Yeah.
But but it was at
especially
a point
that.
Oh my God, dude, it hurts so bad. And then it goes down on my hip.
Yeah.
And like, dude, he touched my hip. I thought I was going to jump out of the chair. Yeah. Like, I felt like such a pussy.
This much further over on the body, and it's a whole.
And we're talking about a guy who literally, this guy, Big Mees, he's a biker. Yep. And he'll ride into Mexico.
Oh, dude,
deep into Mexico by himself.
Yeah, he's gnarly.
So that's the kind of motherfucker this is. I don't want to look like a pussy in front of this guy. But I'm sitting there squirming.
This guy's going through Tijuana. God, Gringo in Tijuana on a bike by himself.
Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, this guy thinks I'm such a pussy. Yeah. But it was by far, the most painful tattoo I got. And so where's that for you?
Most painful? Oh, God, probably my kneecaps. Woo! Like my ribs and my kneecaps, like behind my knees.
The bones? The
bone stuff, I think it hurts a lot worse. Like ribs, I think ribs are bad because you're also trying to like breathe.
Oh shit,
and then not tense up and not move.
Right.
So I'd say ribs are some of the more difficult, probably with the stomach too, how you can't like deep breathe. you know, when the artist is working on you. So I think those spots on either the bones or areas that you got to like control your breathing, because that'll wear you out.
Yes.
You know, after a while. But for me, it would be rib cage, kneecaps, maybe a collarbones too.
Ooh, yeah,
like up here.
Yes,
like the neck wasn't that as bad, but anything on the bone. What about you? What do you think hurts the worst?
Probably your stomach was like by far.
I mean, that's like the whole,
by far, bro.
There's a reason why I don't have my stomach.
Yeah,
that's like literally one of the only areas I don't have.
You do have a lot of open space there. Like, do you think about that all the time when you see your skin? I think about it.
Part of my approach is like I'm trying to keep my old man abs.
There you go.
Because once you tattoo over at, you know, like when people tattoo over muscle, you lose definition.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, it's a little vain thing, but right now I'm just trying to, as I get older, stay in shape. You know,
fuck yeah,
the jiu-jitsu will do that.
Absolutely.
But also the jiu-jitsu can injure me where I can't tattoo. Somebody slaps a wrist lock on. Or
dude, when I tore my bicep, like I was literally
torn right now.
Yeah.
I have 2 rotator and a labrum tear. I gotta have, that's after hernia.
Yeah.
Is shoulder.
Dude, I would say stem cells.
I've done stem cells.
You have,
yeah. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to Colombia this time.
Yes.
Do them in Colombia this time.
Yeah, Matt Brown, my friend. I think you met Matt before. Yeah. He went down and I think he went to I want to say Belize,
Panama or Belize.
Yeah, or maybe it was Panama.
I know a lot of people.
And Coleman went too. Mark Coleman.
Yeah.
And and they said like,
oh man, it's amazing.
Leaps and bounds.
It's crazy.
Better than in the United States.
Yeah, because in the U.S. right now, like, it's legal, but it's only illegal in like so many units.
Right.
You know, where you go to like Colombia or Mexico, you get like 300 times, you know, like something that's really truly going to repair you. You know, I did stem cells in Vegas and it does work. It's like exocell or exosomes is what I did. Not like the true like umbilical.
Right.
I want the umbilical, and yet no babies get hurt during umbilical stem cells.
No, but they say the younger the woman that it sounds so sketchy, guys. By the way, but the younger the woman of the umbilical cord, like if you get somebody who's like in their early 20s or something, the cells are so much.
So like PRP and stuff like that is they'll take our older cells or older, and they'll spin it, and then our stem cells have this much life in them.
Right.
Where like an umbilical younger has like this much energy. So imagine a battery.
Right.
So we're only half heal with ours, which they can do that and it helps you. But if you go umbilical, it's like being a kid again, how you just heal.
It's like that old thing about millionaires, like, going out and getting young people's blood and like
try
to stay young.
That's what it feels like. It feels like a vampiristic way of living. Like, give me your umbilical stem cells, child.
Totally.
But doing what we do, I mean, there's some major injuries, especially like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, you know this.
Oh yeah.
Major injuries. And I think stem cells, as long as it's not hurting another person or a being or especially a child.
Course. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
And like even like at Westside, like through lifting, I mean, I've seen guys, just completely, just tear an entire,
just
bicep right there in front of you, dude, in the Popeye, thing. Oh my God, dude, like where it actually like rolls up your arm.
I've had a friend do that, trying to just like scoop up one of my friends.
Right.
Tattoo venture was pop. You got to get that operated on quick.
Yeah, when I had my shoulder done, it was so funny because Louis Simmons from Westside, he goes, you know what? As soon as I had mine done, he came back to the gym because like the one thing that they don't tell you is like when you get your bicep reattached, they basically take it from here and they way over in here, right? Yep. So every morning when I wake up, I have to like grab the door and like do these weird stretches every day. Still.
Wait, so did you tear your shoulder or did you tear your
bicep? I had tears in my labrum.
Okay,
and then I tore my bicep.
It's hard to even just raise your arm,
and I tore my entire bicep off the labrum, and so I was lucky.
All jiu-jitsu
did not pop. So
or maybe some from lifting.
No, so like
you were lifting heavy too.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing was from jiu-jitsu mostly, but like the very last part was I bought a table from Arhas. And I rented this U-Haul truck, right? And it's this huge, like
trying to move it yourself.
Big, yeah. And all my friends were supposed to come over and help me, and like everybody's like, "Oh, dude, I can't do it today."
To help you, bro.
I had this fucking truck for 3 days. I had it for 3 days, so I just hulked this giant table that fit all 6 of us, all my kids and my wife and me, and I fucking carried it into the house, literally by myself, and that was the end of it.
That was it.
I had to do the zombie walk the next day downtown. And literally,
at least you had the arm.
And literally, I was like this, and that was the end. And I couldn't do it because I was trying to put it off because like I couldn't do jiu-jitsu anymore, but I could still lift because like I could do this
as long as you do something.
But I couldn't do this. Like if somebody was on top,
right now.
yeah.
I gotta watch it. Like at the higher belts, especially, man. Everyone wants to like especially when you're brown belt. It feels like everyone wants to murder you. So
all the blue belts are coming for you.
Yeah, man. All the white and blues and purples come for you.
Those are the dangerous people. Are the new, the new people.
Yep. And I think that's when I originally started tearing this thing. Was like early on in jiu-jitsu. It's getting older.
Because once you do, I mean, that is for me. That's been like it's a daily thing. Like I have to stretch differently.
So do you still have residual? So you
do? Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I mean,
you think I will after like surgery?
I mean, so I would just say you got to do all the therapy.
Do everything.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like, thank God for Tom at Westside, because like, he really kind of took over like where, so the regular PT,
we will rebuild him.
Yeah. And I feel as good as ever, but I don't roll as much as I used to. Yeah. And then when I do roll, I only roll with certain people.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah. Like a lot of lower belts, I don't roll with them because they'll spaz out, or they'll want to submit you and they'll pull it all weird. And it's like,
But when I was new and like, not even new, but like a few years into jiu-jitsu, and I was like, Carlson Gracie, like to the max, I go to every Carlson gym.
It's addictive.
I go to Chicago. I would go roll at HQ and like, with anyone, you know what I mean? And it was kind of nuts when you think about it, because you don't know who, because when you're the new guy in town, you don't know if you're being targeted. Most times everybody's cool, but usually you don't really know.
If you know somebody else's like academy, sometimes they'll be like, hey, turn it up, show them.
Yeah, exactly.
Show them our good jujitsu. And then, I mean, I've been to other countries and stuff like that, like especially Scotland. When I was in Scotland, you could just tell that they were told to turn it up on me.
Is that right?
Turn
it up on Durb.
Turn it up. Yeah. I was like, even the white belts, I was like, you sure these white belts are white belts? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
and, I think I was a blue belt at that time, but they were
these white belts are very crisp.
Yeah. Why is everybody trying to take my head off here? I'm just a guest.
That's funny.
But you could feel that, and I think that's good for you. Like when I go to Hodgers, in London and stuff too, like when you're a traveling guy going into somebody else's academy, they don't want to see you come in and tear everybody up.
Yeah. But that is fun about jiu-jitsu, because it kind of gives you this other alternate game plan when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
If whoever you're on vacation with can actually deal with it.
You got your gi with you.
Yeah. You're like, we're going to Vegas. Oh, okay. So I want to go to this place, or we're going to Phoenix. I want to go to, such and such gym.
Yep.
And it's kind of gives you that sort of, I don't
Vegas
know,
is where it's at.
Just a touch. Yeah. And so you're living in Vegas,
Vegas
part-time?
Got a lot of jiu-jitsu out there, man. Yeah, I'm out there. I moved out there almost about 5.5 years ago, right around there.
Because I've been in Nashville, man, and like in the scene is it's really
is there
exploding
a lot of jiu-jitsu there.
Well, it's like really just now kind of like coming full circle. They got a great 10th Planet gym there, and just a few other guys that are just like really pure old school jiu-jitsu, you know? Yeah.
It's like just jiu-jitsu's everywhere right now, and it's like I used to travel with all my tattoo equipment, and now I travel with my tattoo equipment and my, my gi half the time, just in case, and a lot of tattooers nowadays are into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because we can't really, we could punch, but you don't want to like hurt your hands because that's your money maker.
Right.
So jiu-jitsu is a way to keep tattoo artists in shape as well. So I preach it to tattooers with the caution of the injuries.
Right. Yeah.
It's something I'm like, you should get into jiu-jitsu. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Especially if it's my tattooers. I'm like, wait a minute, I need you.
Yeah. Not you, actually.
Like, I need him.
Everyone should do jiu-jitsu, but except for you.
Except for you guys. Yeah. My crew. So I
mean, it's the best cardio workout. I mean, because you're literally in there fighting for your life for like an hour and a half.
Pretty much.
But your friends are trying to strangle you for an hour and a half every single day.
Like murder yoga.
Yeah. It's not like going to the gym, like where you're by yourself trying to get in like, the 25 reps or whatever you're doing per set, like it's totally
crazy.
different.
And you're in deep waters, man, when you start training. A lot of people will vomit the first time.
Oh, yeah. Like, every time I go back after being gone a while.
I mean, it's that hard
to
cardio.
The heat coming out of the gi.
Oh, dude.
It's just like, holy shit, bro.
It's like fighting in a snowsuit.
It really, that's a great analogy.
I should start tattooing in a gi.
Yeah.
I think I'm onto something.
So you're not just innovative in the way that you've opened up your own shop and given people the opportunity to actually become artists themselves, but you invented products that have really accelerated the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been an exciting career, from being like published tattooer to award winning to turning into more of like a veteran tattooer and having some seniority in the industry. But as I was like tattooing and the industry was changing, a lot of the industry was going kind of like disposable tubes, which is definitely a safety thing. And then I started developing, I wanted a steel tip, or I wanted a disposable tube that tattooed like a traditional tattoo tube, like the steel ones. So I developed the first ever steel tip disposable tattoo tube called True Tube. Yeah, so it's like keeps your machining running true. Like
and so before that, they were
like just plastic tips, and you put the steel needles on top of them, and it creates extra vibration in the machine, and just
so this like actually
slow your
like
machine down. So True Tubes kept your machines running at their true speed, true field, like a traditional.
And so like, what was the moment you came up with that?
I wanted to go disposable myself, but I couldn't. I didn't like the plastic tips, you know, because I just wasn't getting the right line work. So I just started Frankensteining stuff together. I started taking apart like old steel tubes. You know, and then cutting the tips off plastic ones and heat sinking them together, and then doing speed and sound checks. And once I developed it, I was like, I got a product. You know, I got a really different, innovative product here.
So it makes the hand more steady.
Yeah, and it makes your machine. It doesn't slow your machine down. It doesn't cause excessive friction between the plastic and the metal. So it's metal on metal. So you get the smooth kind of piston action with your machine, with your needles, as opposed to like a slower, process, I guess. So after that, I went on to develop True Grips, which were the tattoo industry's first ever memory foam grip cover. And they go over top of like True Tubes or the traditional 1-inch tattoo grips. And that was the first thing of its kind. Again, it kind of revolutionized some things. Now people have bit the hell out of my product, you know, because I can't patent. You can't really patent memory foam, but I invented the first memory foam grip cover to absorb damaging vibrations on artists' hands. And kind of widening their grip. You know, I feel like a crack dealer with them. Because when people work with them and artists like tattoo with them, they're like, I can't tattoo without them. I'm like,
oh, that's awesome.
That's right. Like crack dealer. But no, like, so the products that I've invented really have made an impact on tattooing and the artists. You know, I have like 11 products that I've actually invented. Some have patents, some can't be patented. True Trays, or another invention. The first ink stir cartridge. So it's a like a cartridge tattoo needle, but it's an actual like spinning it, so it mixes ink.
Oh,
so you can set it up with your needle and put an ink. So if you're mixing your inks up, then you have a disposable ink mixer. You're not cross contaminating anything. So things like that. I've always been in search. I don't like to bite people's ideas. You know, I like to find something where like, oh shit, and you can refine that to kind of like a new invention, something that hasn't. Nothing bothers me more, especially if I'm having it happen to myself. Somebody just waiting for somebody to drop like a new product and then copying it.
Right.
You know, which happens.
It's almost like what Eddie Bravo did with jiu-jitsu with 10th Planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he took, you know, what was functional and kind of made his own.
Yeah. 10th Planet jiu-jitsu is way different.
Yeah. Right. Know? Yeah. All the names
best.
and
it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Out there in Vegas too. There's a, you know, a lot of jiu-jitsu, you know, and I'll probably open up a shop out there. And, you know, kind of.
I was going to ask you that, like, so you just have the one shop here in Columbus, right?
I just have the shop. So now,
you've never like been like tempted to open up other shops?
I have been. You know, I used back in the day so I opened up Stained Skin in 1994 here in Columbus, Ohio, and it was the 6th ever tattoo shop in Columbus.
Oh wow!
Yeah, now there's over 100 shops or something like that. You know, out in Vegas right now, I'm just trying to, you know, it's like a vacation kind of home for me, and I go out there and I train.
So you want to get away from it a little bit.
I'll tattoo at the Punk Rock Museum out there, which is really
that's
cool.
So cool, man.
It's awesome, man.
Doing some Op Ivy fucking tattoos and shit.
Exactly. Stuff like that. So, you know, going out there and I work really hard here with my team and everything. So when I go out there, it's kind of like a little bit of a low gear, but I'm still like behind the scenes working on stuff, you know? So eventually I'll probably open up a studio out there.
But it's funny, like, so, you know, I've been in Nashville for the last year and a half, and like, dude, it's crazy. Like the tattoo game there is like wild.
They're probably everywhere.
It's everywhere, but it's like, now. You know, and now on Broadway, you know, one of my good friends, Jelly Roll, just opened up his own honky tonk right next to Kid Rock's place.
Really?
And in the honky tonk, you can get tattooed.
They have a little shop.
Yeah. They have like, you know, world-class artists where you can like come in and, you know, get tattooed there. It's really cool, man.
And that shows you how many people get tattooed. If the demand is that high and you see it, I mean, shops everywhere, you know, that means a man and woman's primal urge is to have an identity, to get tattooed, to be a unique individual. You know,
but it's kind of like what you were saying with Vegas, though, because it's sort of, you know, that same vibe, like where people are coming on vacation.
Like 300 shops out in Vegas.
Yeah, because I'm always like,
crazy.
If I'm going to Vegas or if I'm going to Nashville, I'm like, you know, on vacation, not just to live, but I would think, man, I'm not getting tattooed until the very last day because I'm not missing like. I love fucking pool parties, bro.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I see people come out to Vegas and get tattooed on like the second day of their 5-day stay, and then the sun out there is gnarly.
Oh
it's
my
like,
God,
not a good
I can't
idea.
imagine, man. I can't even, because like even just going to a club or something.
Public pool and go to this dirty nightclub. It's like, it's not ideal. Definitely.
Not ideal.
But I can see some people making, especially in Vegas, making that mistake of getting tattooed at 3 a.m. wasted, drunk, and not remembering it, and getting some girl's name tattoo. Like,
wait a second, you're talking about me? Like, wait a second.
It wasn't 3 a.m. though, bro.
And I was sober.
Yeah, but like Vegas and those party towns, people are probably getting some just crazy or just like funny stuff on them too.
Do you have any rules like when people or like when you used to tattoo on a regular basis?
I mean, one is typically I wouldn't do names. No, but I wouldn't do like, unless it was like blood, like mother, father, like something that wouldn't change family wise. I don't do any racist stuff, kind of hateful, anything kind of like negative. I just like, you don't want that, man. Or even though I like to smoke marijuana, I don't do any marijuana related, tattoos on anybody.
Is that just because you just think?
I'm kind of looking out. Part of my job is to look out for the client.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And sometimes clients come in and they have a good idea at that moment, but they don't realize I see how tattoos affect people forever.
Yeah.
Because I've, been doing this so long. Like, so I don't do those tattoos to people that I know could either affect their job or the outlook of people on them, things like that. I don't do facial tattoos.
You
don't
have any face tats. That's like the new thing, man.
Face tattoos are a big thing. But like, to me, those are tattoos that I think people eventually look in the mirror one day and they're like, man, I wish I had that, cleared off. Because
Jelly said that before.
To me, like the communication area is like here. Like, I'm not looking at your neck. Like, my neck's all tattooed.
Right.
I won't do where I communicate with people. One thing I noticed when I got my neck done so high is I lost a lot of visual eye contact with people.
No shit.
It's okay. Weird. That's one of the first things I noticed when I went from like lettering here to like, boom.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of people are like, hey, and they'll like look away. I don't know if they're like nervous because they don't want to feel like they're staring at you.
Right.
So a lot of people like lose their eye contact, and that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't notice it nowadays. I think carrying yourself with confidence and a good amount of politeness with people, keeps people. But when I first got my neck done, it's a different. So I keep all those in mind, like even my experiences and things I've seen from people. So I don't do facial tattoos.
How have you fought off the urge to get the Carlson Gracie dogs?
Oh man, I've done them on people.
I bet you have. Yeah.
And you know what? I might one
day. Who's the best?
Maybe when I go black belt. Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen so people know what we're talking about. But like, do you remember like who you've done the best?
The Carlson
tribute on?
Oh God. I mean, I've tattooed by Professor Travis Haynes.
Okay.
Just a variety of teammates and stuff like that. My professor down in Vegas, Romulo Caedo, he's talking about getting the bulldogs like on the inside.
Oh, that's sick on each one.
Yeah,
oh, that's sick. You throw the guns up. You're like, that's what's up. Yeah,
Carlson.
Dude.
Yeah, because he runs the Carlson Academy.
Yeah.
Henderson in Vegas. So
after you submit somebody, you're just like, what's up now?
Exactly. Yeah. But I've done a lot of like jujitsu tattoos on people. I was part of a project that was like outlines of tattoos, and you had to find different clients, and each tattoo was like different, and it was an animated thing of tattoos, but it was somebody tying their belt.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
stuff like that. So.
That's neat. So like well, on you, I mean, this might be a vanilla question, but like, what's your favorite piece that you have?
Probably my ribs right now. So I'd say like this whole outer spacey.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, just turn to the camera real quick so people can see. Oh, that's sick, dude. This, like, bro. Oh, this had to hurt. This is what I'm talking about, bro.
Like all this was really bad.
They're coming for you. Yes, dude.
Like this, especially with like this outer space.
Yeah, dude. Now, who did that?
Guy Aitchison. He's at Marion, Illinois. Yeah, his name's Guy Aitchison.
And just a friend of yours or somebody you met?
He's a friend of mine, definitely. To me, even since I started tattooing, the first shop I went in, man, his flash was on the walls.
Oh,
and
no
shit. Like, it was the artwork that like appealed to me, where I was like, dude, it's just like different. It's kind of wild, mechanical, biomechanical, and it's like stuff that nobody had seen. And he's gone on to me, he's like a living master. Like they're going to teach about this guy in art classes in the future and stuff. So he's a tattooer that's changed to look like that. It doesn't have like your normal look. Or he did my leg too. So like,
oh, that's dope.
Like,
yeah,
it's like crazy bios.
Yes. I like that.
So he freehands a lot of it on.
Yeah, I like that you do a lot of colors because I like colors too.
Yeah, I like colors.
The new thing is like totally blacked out.
And I don't know about that, man.
So tell me, like I was going to ask you,
see my
from an
tattooer
artist's
with
point
signs,
of view.
right?
I mean, I was talking about heavy hands. I mean, you got to get in there.
Yeah, you got to
like MGK, like what he just did, like that whole,
yeah.
like, you know, the body suit basically.
Yep.
Like,
and you don't want somebody to scar you either. So you need somebody that can like get the black and like velvety, solid.
Yeah,
or you just have a bunch of patchy scars.
Right,
like
right. I never thought about that. Yeah,
I think tattooing has trends. Like back in the day, there was like Tasmanian Devil. You know, you remember Taz? So Taz was like a plague on tattoo artists, you know. So
that's funny. So that was like one of those things that people were kind of like, oh god.
Yep. Tribal was a really big phase. You know, Leo Zulueta brought back tribal tattooing, you know, from Polynesia back to America. So that got really big in like the 90s.
Yeah.
But it's a viable form. There's different forms of tattooing. One of them is tribal. One of them's biomech. One of them's traditional Japanese. There's all these styles.
What's the form like where they take it and they hit the end of something?
That's tatao.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is that? What are they actually doing there?
Tabori is the Japanese hand poke.
Okay.
Or tatao's the tap.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where's that originate from?
Like Polynesia, New Zealand, you know, like those like.
Is there somebody like that like specializes that in the United States?
I mean, in the U.S. it would be like Leo Zulueta. Evan Beers is a really good Polynesian artist. But yeah, there's a handful of them here that do Polynesian style. And that's the thing, like tattooing's for everybody because there's so many styles that pertain to somebody's like culture or family or you know, so somebody is Japanese may, you know, obviously be getting Japanese tattoos or who knows what, you know, American traditional.
Have you done any of the blackouts?
No, I haven't, believe it or not. I had a tattooer with a sign. Have you seen my tattooer with a sign page?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I love that you did that. It's really funny.
Blackout tattoos are just lazy cover-ups. You know? And then, I mean, that one went wild. I re-released it when MGK released his bodysuit.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Get a bunch of hate is awesome. But to me, no, I've never done full blackout tattoos. I'm so selective now with the tattooing that I'm doing because of the time that I have between all my businesses and me trying to do other art and train and travel and all this.
How tough is it for somebody to get you to get in a chair in front of you?
It's got to be the right project.
Yeah.
So right now I'm kind of catering more to like Japanese, American traditional Japanese projects. Selling a lot of my paintings too. You know?
That's awesome, man. Good.
But now I'm more selective about what I do because of the time. So I get a lot of people that come at me. And one of the things with Red Tree is I can give that client to one of my like talented tattoo artists at my shop.
Yeah.
They all do different styles, but they all customize and things too. Yeah. So that's kind of part of having like a big crew is I could be like, I can't fit you in, but let me give you to Brandon or Jordan or Fawn or Marty Holcomb works for me now. And Marty Holcomb's the godfather of tattooing in this entire city.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the longest living tattoo artist in the city.
No shit.
Now. Yep.
How old is he?
He's 70, I think 73.
No kidding. He's still going
Marty,
at it.
Wow. Yeah. And then after that, the lineage goes me. So like that's Marty Holcomb's the godfather. And then I actually learned from Marty's apprentice, Tim Miller, way, you know, back in 91. Tim later passed away. So now I guess it would make me next in line after Marty. So Marty, we take care of him. He's a phenomenal artist. I don't know if everybody's heard about, you've heard about Marty Holcomb in this town forever. But it's an honor to be working with him. You know, cool, like man. Two of the old heads here working together. So yeah.
So you've created this really cool culture that's Hell City, and you know,
this weekend, baby.
Yeah, if people don't understand like what it's like to be in Columbus or Phoenix when that show rolls into town, it's just like when Sonic Temple is going to be here. You know, because literally this coming weekend is Hell City. The weekend after is Sonic. Boom. Yeah, you're going, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll be there Saturday.
So you know, like it's
like
just like one of those things like where people it's a must attend event in those two cities, Columbus and Phoenix.
Yep. I guess, you know, Sonic Temple's huge, but if you compare Hell City's like a little miniature, it's like a rock concert for 3 days, but it's all tattooing, you know, but it is like putting on a 3-day rock event or something, you know, there's people coming from out of town. You got to put on live acts and keep it going. So, like Hell City with our 23rd year, it's become a staple in this town.
But definitely. I love it because it's so hyper focused on tattooing. Like, you know, like Incarceration is fantastic.
It's music,
you know, it's fun. You know, the prison, you know, like people love it. You know, and in Mansfield, you know, it's literally, you know, one of the coolest events. But at the same time, like, I don't know that I see myself ever getting tattooed there. Like, the cool thing about Hell City is you can get like, you know, your favorite artist from Europe,
TV and
exactly. Wherever. And like, you know, you bring all of these amazing people.
We work really hard to keep that quality of like artists, because my responsibility is to make sure everybody coming through my gates of Hell City gets a good tattoo.
Yeah.
They might not remember what artist did their tattoo, like if they had a bad one, but they'll remember where they were.
Yeah.
They were in Hell City.
I think the best thing you did was get rid of the bands. Like, I think, like, you know, the music was
funny. Yeah.
It kind of like shit on the whole, and it wasn't the bands like themselves.
Nobody
it was just,
really watched the bands that much.
But I think they should be watching the tattoo artists and, like, you know, experiencing the culture, right? You know, like,
right. We got rid of bands probably 5 years ago, like live bands there. We DJ music and stuff all day. You know, there's live acts. But the bands literally were the one thing that the tattooers, and I got to respect the tattooers, you know, at the same time, because they're the ones making the tattoos. They always complained about the noise from the bands.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear their machines. They couldn't talk to their clients anymore. Right. So at that point, I just heard so many complaints. I'm like, all right, obviously I got to respect my artists, you know, as much as tattooing and music go hand in hand. Doing away from the bands and putting more live acts, I think it's been more beneficial.
Well, it's kind of weird because you know, like when you think about it, everyone always tries to just force live bands into everything. Like I can't tell you how many MMA organizations have hired me to do like play-by-play, or like, you know, something for them hosting or whatever. And they're like, all right, yeah. And we're thinking about doing a live act. And I was like, whoa,
in the middle of the ring.
Stop. I'm like, there's going to be no sound check, you know, cause you're going to want to do it in the middle of the fight.
Yeah. We didn't have like the best, like we don't have a full, we didn't have like stage monitors for a while.
Yeah. I'll never forget Howard Davis Jr., who was an Olympic boxer. He owned this MMA organization that I worked for in Miami. And he had a sponsor. I'm not going to say who it was because people will know. But this person had their own band, but they were like the marquee sponsor. So kind of like whatever they wanted, they kind of had to do it. You know?
Yeah.
So in the middle of the fights, like what would be like.
Also, they had to play.
Oh, fuck yeah. It was so crazy. Like what would be like the middle of like, you know, the end of the prelims, beginning of the main card, right? Yeah. I went in the octagon or, you know, in the cage. I was like, hey, you know, get ready for so-and-so. Yeah.
Live Creed.
So 25 minutes to set up, no sound check. And when they started playing, it was a disaster. They started covering Rage. First of all, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, but it was so nuts. I mean, it just sounded terrible. So I was kind of glad that you put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I analyze every year. I'm not joking. I'm taking notes. I'm analyzing what works, what doesn't, what people are complaining about. And I listen to people's complaints. I think people complaining makes you better.
Right. No,
if they don't say it's when you're not going to know what you're doing wrong.
Well, it's like, you know, shit talking online. Like, you know, you can get 1,000 I love you messages, you know, like, I love what you do. You're the best. And you're like, all right, cool. Thanks. And then somebody's like, I fucking hate you. And you're like, whoa.
Wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. You know,
so with that, we got rid of the bands and we actually just added more live performances, which I think is more well received by our crowd. It was almost like when the band would go on, all the lights were on.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a band, and people would be like at the stage, like,
yeah.
And they'd be like,
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival, the pinnacle of rock festivals in America, returns in 2025 with Linkin Park, Korn, 2 nights of Metallica, no repeat weekend, plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Alice in Chains, Rob Zombie, 3 Days Grace, Alice Cooper, I Prevail, Jimmy Eat World, Chevelle, Motionless in White, and so many more. May 8th to the 11th at Historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Passes on sale now at sonictemplefestival.com.
The most intense things I've ever seen is like when the people do the suspension.
Yeah.
Like when they, hook through the skin. Like, how does that work, man? Like, and you don't die and rip your entire back out or something.
It's crazy. I did a 4-point, just a 2 area, but 4-point suspension way back in the day. And you'd be amazed how strong your skin is.
Yeah.
Like when it gets hooked, you know, I mean, they put it through like a big chunk. When I first got suspended, I started realizing why people's arms look like they were like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
They can't really bend their arm because when you first come off of the ground with flesh hooks,
oh my God,
you feel your skeleton sink.
No.
And you feel your skin get pulled up and you feel all your joints get
so
tight that you can barely, like, you can't really bend. So all those years I saw people like hanging, just
now,
like.
Now, do you do like a practice run before you? No. Yeah. So it was like when the first time you went up where you're like, maybe this is a bad idea. Fuck this. I went down.
You're like, what the hell am I doing up here?
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, so when I got suspended by Steve Hayworth, a good buddy of mine, but he's also like the godfather of body modification pretty much in the world next to Fakir Musafar. And I suspended at his house after I did Hell City. And I had promoted suspensions at Hell City for so many years. And I'm like, why haven't I haven't done this myself? How am I able to promote it or even have it a part of what I'm doing if I haven't experienced it myself? Like tattoos, I'm tattooed up.
Yeah.
Music, whatever, like all that art, painting. but I hadn't been suspended. So after Hell City one year, I was like, I need to do what I'm promoting, you know. I got all these other people suspending, so I lined it up with Steve. Yeah, and the first, you know, going up, you're just like, whoa.
Oh my
really
God,
weird
dude, yeah.
feeling, your body wanting to stay, but your skin getting, you know, eventually you're like,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But it's a part of, like I said, it's a part of tattooing.
Does it hurt? I mean, like, are you in pain?
Yeah, it hurt. Definitely the piercing, like the first, like,
whoa.
Because they pull up your skin so much. So even though you're only going through this, if you let that skin go, it's like they went through that much of your skin, like under.
So what's the tradition of that? Is that like some old tribal something?
Yeah, it's a spiritual, meditative type of thing. You know,
okay.
I don't know if it was like originally Native American. I can't really give the history on it, but I think a lot of people do it as a spiritual journey, a way to get over things. Sometimes like tattoos and things like that are a way for people to like a new beginning or to get over something.
Yeah.
Much like a good mushroom trip or something through the woods.
Yes. I would suggest that actually.
But I think that's why people utilize, you know, some of the body modifications or a therapeutic way or, you know, so the suspension, I don't know, you know, sometimes you feel like you do things that make you tougher.
Right.
Or strengthen you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things.
Okay.
Definitely. You know?
Yeah. So who's new or like what's new this year at Hell City?
Hell City
that we've never seen before.
Well, this year's all got a Star Wars twist.
Oh,
because
really?
So it's like May 2nd,
exciting.
3rd, and 4th. So next weekend.
Yeah.
And that's like,
oh, may the 4th be with you.
Yeah. So me being a huge Star Wars nerd my whole life, raising my son on it, and now my granddaughter's getting raised on it, you know. So this year we got a twist. It's a Star Wars twist. It's called Hell City Strikes Back.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
We've included, people get discounts if they come in Star Wars outfits.
Okay.
You know, little prize packs and stuff. We've included Star Wars tattoo contest on Sunday, which we've never had yet. So that's going to be fun. I know a lot of people are like actually finishing all these Star Wars tattoos to be able to get a Hell City award.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah.
For like one of the only times we'll probably have a Star
Millennium
Wars
Falcon like on your back.
So one of ours is doing this big Princess Leia piece.
Oh, that's
I think
dope.
there's going to be some amazing, probably the best Star Wars tattoo competition you'll ever see is getting ready to happen this Sunday.
So what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
My favorite, Empire Strikes Back, definitely. And then Revenge of the Sith. I just went and saw Revenge of the Sith the other day in the theaters with my son.
They're playing it, right?
Yeah. So my nerd ass, I had to get a ticket and go back and see it again. But yeah, I'd say like Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back by far. Cool. But I've kept up on all the Star Wars. So when I found out it was going to be Star Wars weekend for Hell City, I was like, we're doing this.
Oh, that's
great.
You
know, so I'm going to be in costume on Sunday just as like Anakin from Revenge and stuff like that. So we've added that. We've got a bounty hunter contest. My buddy Todd Reed. I don't know if you know Todd Reed from here.
I don't think I do.
He's like a special effects guy. Does Hunger Holler Farms, like one of the new big haunted attractions here.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So he's doing a bounty hunter contest on Saturday. So on the 3rd. And that's,
so what does that look like? What's a bounty hunter contest?
Well, they're going to be downstairs. We have the 501st. You know, we got Todd down there with Hunger Holler, and they're going to be doing the makeup on people when people can show up with like their own costumes and they get makeup done.
Oh, that's dope.
So we're going to have like all these bounty hunters on, and then we're going to let the crowd kind of choose like their favorite.
Oh, that's so cool. Yes.
Applause and, you know, stuff like that. The tattoo contests are judged by tattoo artists only.
Okay.
For my contest, I don't have anybody that doesn't actually tattoo up there judging, because I've seen that at some shows too. Where I'm like, why is the magazine editor, even though it's cool, like, why are they judging tattoos?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm kind of an outspoken tattoo artist too. Something like, especially with the signs, I'm able to say things in a respectful way that need to be said.
Yeah.
You know, with tattooing. So.
Well, you got to keep it legitimate, like to like what you do. You know, like I feel the same way about radio and broadcasting, and you know, in spoken word format. It's like, you know, there's there's no room for the goofs, man. Like, you know, you got to be real and connected and you're true to what you do. You know,
exactly. So I've always been really big about that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
Good. And tattooing, you got to be like that because there's a lot of people in it now.
So is it 2 or 3 days?
It's a 3-day event. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday from noon on Friday and Saturday is noon to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Sunday is noon to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's acts pretty much from 1 p.m. every day. There's something going on at the main stage. There's live painting rooms with 30.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Like
really?
Tattooers that are like just painting. So you can see that we're artists. We're not just like tattooers. We're like artists. Off the skin.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about Red Tree. Like when I come, you know, when I've been to your shop, it's like, it's literally like an art gallery. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you've done such a great job.
And
with
the new facility is just huge. So I've been able to like expand everything there. bring everything under one roof.
Now, will you do Star Wars in Phoenix too?
So I'm not taking all my damn costumes out like I'm doing here. Like we got it going on here. We got a 501st. I bought some new outfits. So down there we're keeping the Star Wars tattoo contest.
Okay.
But probably not the costume stuff down there.
Yeah,
it's so hot. Dude,
I've always wanted to go to that one because you guys do that big pool party and everything. Man,
it's the world's largest tattoo pool party. Yeah, and it's amazing. It's like you get to like hang out with all the tattoo artists that are like in the ballroom, but in more of like not just in a bar. Like it's cool. Like the bar here kicks ass.
Yeah,
but down there it's like you're swimming and drinking and everybody's acting like little kids. And
I love Phoenix, man. Like I always stay in Scottsdale. When I go with the family, we stay at the Fairmont, but when I go solo, I love the Hotel Vallejo. Have you been out there?
No.
Oh my God, bro. So that's so it's a Frank Lloyd Wright apprentice. So
the Biltmore.
Yeah. So one of his apprentices did this hotel, and it's like this 1950s, just completely rejuvenated hotel where it's like beautiful. I mean, there's so much green area, which obviously is not real, it's kind of hard to come by in Phoenix.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
They got a lot of grounds workers to make that because the Biltmore's like that too. We're all kind of like lush and tropical where you're like, the hell, there's a bunch of rocks outside of here.
Yeah.
And then inside the Biltmore is where it's just
totally.
So it's funny when people show up, they're like, how the hell did you get this place to let you do a tattoo convention?
Right. Well, there's so many.
It's like a 5-star, like the presidents stay there.
Totally.
All the rock stars that come through. I mean, I've swam with Metallica, Leonard Skinner.
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
So they're always like, there's always somebody big there. So when people come for Hell City, Phoenix, they're not used to that luxurious of a place for tattooing. But it's nice too, because to know places like that actually take a gamble and give the opportunity to tattooing is amazing.
What brought you to Phoenix?
Phoenix originally, I was going to move there. So my son's name, one of his middle names is Phoenix.
Oh, cool.
He was conceived in Phoenix, all that good stuff. I've always had an attraction to Phoenix. Weather-wise, I like the mountains, I like that west, and then got a lot of friends there. Now, when I brought Hell City there was because it's a huge modification community too. So there's a lot of tattoo shops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of that's where that Steve Hayworth guy that suspended me, he lives in Phoenix. So there's all like body implant modifications and just so Phoenix to me is like a really extreme tattoo and body modification city that embraces it. That's perfect for the convention.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's why I originally took it there. And having friends there too, they're like, we need a good show here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I brought it back. That was 2008.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And when I took my family out to Phoenix and Scottsdale, and we went all the way up to the canyon.
Yeah. Did you go to Sedona? Or
anything? So that's what we did. So we stayed. We started at the Fairmont.
Okay.
And then we were there for like 3-4 days, and then we went up to Sedona.
Yep.
Right. But on the way to Sedona, this is what we did, bro. So my son, he rolls and stuff. You know. So Matt Brown called Maynard from Tool.
Oh yeah,
and so he's in Jerome, right? And so he's got the wine,
he's got the
vineyard, Yep. But they have like restaurants that go along with it, like Merkin, restaurants and or not a restaurant so much as a wine bar.
Okay,
and they have food, but that's kind of second, right?
Yeah,
but it's more about the wine. And this entire town of Jerome, he's got the winery. He has his jiu-jitsu gym, which
he's got his own academy there.
So dope, dude! I missed him.
I'd imagine.
Missed him by 10 minutes. The gym is like everything you want it to be. Like the artwork on the walls is like a Tool record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool.
Like Alex Gray probably came in and painted the academy and all that.
So yeah, good call on that. Yes, it was one of those experiences for actually both of my sons. We're just like peering in the window, and I'm like,
you could go in.
I missed him by 10 minutes. I literally missed him by 10 minutes. Like he told Matt, he's like, dude, if I was here,
it'd be cool to even just take a class from him or something.
I just wanted to go in.
How much he rolls? He probably doesn't roll with a lot of people.
So he goes in and like actually instructs sometimes.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
But with his like.
I don't think. I don't think he rolls.
Couldn't just roll. I submitted Maynard.
It is kind of funny. So like when I don't know. Hey, I think he was with Tool and he came here and he requested that Matt come backstage. So I went with Matt, and so Matt rolled with him. It's like before Maynard came out, like the bodyguards are like, all right, listen, man, he's like 50 years old. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not going to fuck Maynard.
That's
up.
probably
like,
why Maynard probably wanted Matt because, like you said, the higher levels can go slow, control. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Spaz out and all that. So that would be a crazy opportunity.
He's super intellectual. So like he totally understands like everything that's happening and like, gets it on a different level.
That's why they say jujitsu guys like smart nerds, essentially,
right. Yes.
get better jujitsu because of the technique. You know, your foot's got to go here, hand goes here.
Yes.
You know? So there's like all these things you got to remember. So smart people are good at jujitsu.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, so this weekend, I'm so excited. You know, I'm going to come out. So, you know.
We covering your stomach up this weekend or what?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Like, we're going to talk afterwards because I really do want your input because it's like.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what to do because whatever I do, you know, I'll put a photo up like to show people the tattoo, but like whatever I do cover it up with has to be huge. I mean, because it's
the only
because Big Me's like what you said about, you know, not tattooing people's names on other people.
Yeah.
Like Me's tried to talk me out of it. Like, I don't know if I ever told you that. Like, because those like right before I still hear his voice going, "Are you sure?" Like he put the gloves on, dude. Totally, it's like he had the gun. He goes, "You're totally
really do this."
Yeah. And I was already there because I had already said it on the radio, and like you know, like I'm like, "Oh, dude, I got to do it." And as soon as he started, I was like, "I think this is a bad idea." And I've never said that publicly. But I go, "I think this is a bad idea."
Like, oh shit, we just started.
Yeah, and I've never felt that way. Yeah, I've never felt that way with any other tattoo.
And I'll tell you what, a tattoo is one of those things that you can regret because it's permanent. Right, you know, it's like one of those things like, fuck, like I don't like this shirt.
Yeah,
like, I hate this hat.
Yeah,
it's like I hate this tattoo.
So where do you start like with cover ups? Like what you like get like a sense of somebody's personality or like?
Yeah, I try to get like one, I would want to know like what kind of like style of art you know, do you want a panther head, do you want a dragon, do you want, you know, and kind of get some like topic from you first. Then I would typically like have you come and I would take photos of just like the body, and then I would sketch on top of all that because I don't want to just like put a bunch of lines over other lines. I want to be able to try to work with what's there to define a part of what we're gonna cover it with.
You
know, and that's typically the best way is not just going in and being like just slapping something over.
Right.
You know, for you, I'm going to recommend a few things, probably laser removal or laser lightning.
Okay.
And once you laser lighten, you know, all this stuff was like laser lightened.
Ah, okay.
And there's a bunch of tattoos that were under here. This was all laser lightened up.
And it just makes it easier to cover up.
Yeah, it just gives you the possibility of like better imagery or like not going darker.
Yeah.
You know, so that's probably what I recommend when we're done here. I'll talk to you about some laser places here in town. I think we got some time with them too, so I might be able to get you in.
Oh, cool.
On my time. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, like it's something you're going to have to do because it's something that's going to sit with you for a while, you know? So it's like those tattoos, they feel so good knowing from getting stuff covered up and removed. It feels so good when you get it, you know, covered up and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
As soon as, you know, and I don't talk much about this publicly, but as soon as we separated, you know, like obviously that was like, you know, everybody feels like that's the first thing they can say to me. You know what I mean? They're like, "Hey, so when you getting that tattoo covered up?" I'm like,
I had that too.
I had to go through a process of like, you know, letting go of like what was and like, you know, getting to a point of like, you know, I wasn't going to cover anything up because I didn't want to forget why I'm doing it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Exactly, and like cover up memories and, tattoos, and like everything else.
That's a time of, you know, even though you can remove it, it's still like while you're going through it and getting the tattoos, it was time of your life right there. You know, it was like that was the story of your life. But afterwards, there's nothing wrong with covering them up or getting rid of them. With my exes, I tattoo them, so they got a lot to get covered.
I love it.
You know, so they definitely don't forget me. But I have had a lot of stuff removed, lasered off. So I see where you're coming from. I know what the feeling of being like, I just want to get this tattoo gone. You know? But I think doing it the right way rather than going to get like a darker or worse tattoo just to get rid of it, you know?
Yeah. The font is so unique that people, you know, a lot of times don't know actually what it says, like when they first look at it until they can kind of like get a good look at it.
Yeah.
So I always tell them it says regrets.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I got guilt tattooed across me.
Yeah. Right. That's awesome.
So it's like,
and that used to say Sarah. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Exactly. But no, tattoos are one of those things, man. They tell a story of your life.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like it or not, where you're at, you know. But luckily, there's lasers and there's cover-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was a point where I was like, maybe I'm not going to get it covered up because maybe I need to remember. You know, there's that line of thinking too. But then after I got out of that, I was like, I got to get it covered up.
Well, who was that guy thinking that?
Yeah, exactly. Nah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, maybe, you know, you might see some artists there this weekend if you're, you know, look at their portfolios and find some like local or close to local, you know, guys that you see that cover up stuff. Because there are artists that do specialize in cover-ups.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not ass out on all that.
Well, dude, I can't wait for this weekend, man.
Yeah.
And if people want to get tickets, do they go online
Yep, we're going to have tickets available probably till Thursday evening. We shut them down for the weekend, but you can get pre-sale tickets, Hell City merchandise, hats, shirts, all that good stuff.
I like
reserve
the shirt.
Yeah, thank you. But all this stuff's online at hellcity.com.
Okay.
You can also visit us on Instagram at hell_city. Or on Facebook under Hell City Tattoo Fest.
Is the shop open during Hell City?
Shop will not be open.
Okay, yeah. I wondered if that was the best time to go to Red Tree to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I know,
like,
it probably would be.
Like,
but some of the stuff I like almost strip out on my own street, like our thermofax machine.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Transport everything down there. After Hell City, the day after Hell City, we had to get all that stuff back there because we have a lot of guest artists that stay behind too. So we get like 5 guest artists after Hell City every time, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, so they come tattoo even more, you know, so. Yeah,
dude, I can't wait, man. I can't wait, man.
It's gonna be wild. I'll see you there.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Durb Morrison, and you can also contact him on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Yep, at Durb Morrison. You can also go to my website, which is durbmorrison.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. You know, not OnlyFans or any of that. So you're not gonna. But yeah, find me at Durb Morrison.
All right. And you can find me here. All right, guys. And I appreciate you finding me here. So like and subscribe to the channel. Episode 22 in the books. And we'll see you for 23.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival, the pinnacle of rock festivals in America, returns in 2025 with Linkin Park, Korn, 2 nights of Metallica, no repeat weekend, plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Alice in Chains, Rob Zombie, 3 Days Grace, Alice Cooper, I Prevail, Jimmy Eat World, Chevelle, Motionless in White, and so many more. May 8th to the 11th at Historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Passes on sale now at SonicTempleFestival.com.